Hey everyone, Mr. P and Mr. Dave here. We are the Geeky guys, and this is a tea break podcast. However, this is a tea break podcast special.
That's right, Mr. P. It's a very special episode this week, and we've got a very special guest. You may know her from her work portraying Eve, Mother of All, on Supernatural, Mary Pearson on Smallville. She played Lucy on cult classic movie Hot Tub Time Machine, and she also played Tessa on the dark, arty, gritty film noir independent movie from the Soska sisters, American Mary. She's also a very good friend of mine. That's right, we're talking to Miss Julia Maxwell.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, you're right.
Hey, hi.
How you doing?
Hey.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. How are you guys doing?
We're all right. End of the weekend.
Yeah.
Work tomorrow.
Yeah, work tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we have to feel lucky to still be in work, don't we?
Oh yeah, it's been a bit of a crappy year.
Yes, definitely some major low points for sure. You guys.
How's all the virus stuff affecting you over there then?
Huh?
How's all the virus stuff affecting you over there? Is there much closed or?
I think they're looking to go into some stricter restrictions.
Yeah.
The numbers are getting bigger, and I think people aren't taking heed. People don't believe that there's a pandemic, and yeah, I don't know. It's affecting me personally in a, I wouldn't say in a severe way. It's just different. It's just a different way of life now, and it's a lot quieter, I guess. And
Yeah,
yeah.
It's not so easy to get together with family and friends and arrange stuff. You can't do holidays. You can't jet off anywhere.
Sorry, it's like cutting out for me. I don't know why.
Oh no.
Is it my?
Yeah, saying you can't jet off anywhere. You can't do any holidays or anything like that at the moment.
No.
No, good.
I'm kind of just in the mood to just be still, anyways. Just kind of like not be doing
right, isn't it?
Like living in a natural kind of way, trying to be in harmony and not be the cause of anyone getting ill or.
No, that's it, isn't it? You have to think of everybody else as well.
Yeah. I went to Thunder Bay with my mom because she got a puppy, and it was really hard because her mom lives there, my grandmother, and so we wanted to show her the puppy because she loves puppies, but it was really hard to stand outside. I know everyone has gone through something like this, but just to be there, which is like it's a 2-day drive, or
right,
and see her but not be able to she's has a bit of dementia, so she's always kind of every 10 minutes, oh, come on in, like, why can't you come in? And it just
but it's hard for it.
But it's more important to protect someone you love, and so
definitely. So I've got a couple of young nieces that are like that don't really understand it, and why they have to go to windows to see people, and why they can't go in the family's houses and they can't see the friends.
Of course,
it's a sad time.
Yeah, I read that there's it's obvious, but that there's going to be like kind of emotional ramifications for children for going through this. It's traumatizing, and it's like it's uncertain and scary, and they're going to school, and it's worrisome.
Yeah, school life's not the same at all, is it, at the moment? They're not having the normal childhood you would normally have.
Yes, yeah.
The first lockdown we had here, schools were closed. The second lockdown we've had here, they're open, but everything's completely different. The way they're being taught and the amount of people you can have in a classroom, and so different.
Yeah, and I know, like, for me, like, you sometimes, like, I'll leave the car without my mask, so you think, like, you get into the routine, but then, like, what if they're kids, like, it's just. Yeah,
I literally did that the other day. I walked to the shop and got halfway to the shop before realising I'd left my mask at home, so I had to walk all the way back to get it, and then all the way back to the shop again. But that's just because I'm old and forgetful.
Like you say, it's new routine, isn't it? just all got to get used to it.
You know, it's bad when Apple have included their face mask emojis now, and the me things with face masks on now. That's Apple put those in.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
You know, one of the new updates for the newest iOS, they've included is it the Wii Me things. You know, the little face things. They've now got face masks on. You can actually put a face mask on.
Okay. Yeah, for Halloween, I saw lots of pumpkins with face masks.
Yeah, very much on trend at the minute. That was going to happen, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
But I can't believe you've gone on brand, Paul, haven't you, Mr. P? You've got your Geeky Guys vest on.
I have. I went on brand just in case this goes out as a video later on.
Yeah.
Although recording it as a podcast, you never know. We might stick this out as a video later on.
Yeah, the YouTube channel at some point in the future.
Well, we'll see how much time we've got and if I can be bothered.
Yeah, we'll run that by Julia first as well, of course.
Run what? Oh, if we can upload it or something? Is this live?
No. You see,
Okay.
me and Dave have this have this issue where very occasionally we completely screw up, and we have to start again. In fact, just on a previous podcast we were recording for our other standard series a couple of weeks ago, and we were sat there and we'd been talking for about 15 minutes before Dave said, "Mr. P, shouldn't it say recording at the top because it's not there?" And it was like, I forgot to press the button. Let's do all that again, Dave.
Right. Well, I guess we're human, right? So
Yeah, that's it.
But that shirt is it's cool. I dig it. Yeah.
I like your photos from your trip to Troll Falls.
Thank you.
A really lovely place. It's at the bottom of one of the national parks, isn't it?
Yes.
Like not too far from where you are.
Not too far. It's about just over 45 minutes. Yeah, in Caduceus.
Yeah, and that's a nothing drive in Canada, 45 minutes. That's literally just down the road, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah. It was my first time going there, and yeah, you mentioned you want to go there now too.
Yeah, I've got some distant cousins that live in British Columbia. There's a couple of them that are in the Canadian Air Force, and it'd be good to go over and see them at some point and see a bit of the country, obviously, as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously, if I'm anywhere near where you are, come and say hi.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
Definitely.
We can be in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, just got to wait for the flights to be allowed again and get a bit of money together and have a look at that.
Yeah, have you ever been to Canada?
No, I've not been to America or Canada. Not been to either, unfortunately. I've not had the opportunity, but yeah, I'll get over there.
Yeah, someday. Yeah.
I've not been to Canada exactly. I've been to 2 airports on the way to the US. So it was like run around the airport when they realized the plane was leaving and we weren't on it yet. And then back into the airport again on the way out. We flew Air Canada. So that's the entirety of my time in Canada was in 2 airports.
Yeah.
And now I've got some Canadian money that's been sat in my safe for the last 7 years that I just still sat there.
Not been able to use. I had a similar thing when I went to Australia. I ended up having an hour stopover in Singapore. But you wasn't allowed to leave the airport or anything to explore anywhere. So we're only there like hour and 10 minutes. So it was literally just get your bag again, get checked in again, get onto the other plane, and then fly off to Melbourne for another 8 hours, something like that. So yeah, that was a shame. It's always a bit annoying when you go somewhere and you can't look around.
Yeah. You touch down, you're there, and then you got to keep going. But so, do you think technically, would you say you've been there though?
To Canada.
To Singapore or
Singapore.
Yeah,
well, technically the airport is technically in the country, isn't it?
In there, yeah. So
you could say you visited.
Been there. Could tick it off.
Did they stamp your passport?
They could probably get to see in a few hours.
Yeah, that used to be the old way, getting the stamp, didn't it, for the country?
Yeah.
What we used to do.
Yeah. Do you both live near one another? I assume you do, right?
About 25-30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so not too far, right?
Just down the road, although obviously just lately we've had to do everything remotely.
Yeah, because Nottingham and Derby, I think Nottingham have been in a higher tier for the COVID virus alerts, haven't they? Because there've been higher cases in the Nottinghamshire area.
Yeah.
So I've had slightly less restrictions here in Derbyshire, and you've had a bit more in yours. So it's just not worked for getting together and doing stuff, has it? It's pretty much stopped us doing any filming and green screen work and going on location and taking photos and bits of video. All that's had to go out the window, hasn't it?
Yeah,
But it'll come back.
We've been stuck using Zoom, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, hopefully we're all going to get vaccinated early next year, and we'll have some sense of normality back in our lives again.
Do you ever think it will be normal, or do you think it's just going to? Do you think it's changed forever now? I think
it won't be completely the same, and there'll be obviously a lot of businesses, a lot of companies are losing a lot of money through this, and they'll probably not be able to operate for too much longer. So I think certain areas it won't be the same at all, and some bits will get back to normal. I mean, the pubs and the restaurants will reopen. They'll probably be okay. I'd have thought shopping malls will be okay, pretty much. It's the smaller independents you feel sorry for, isn't it, that rely on that incoming trade day after day, week after week to keep going, pay the bills.
Yeah, that's quite upsetting. The positive thing, that I think will be is people will kind of appreciate each other more.
Yeah, definitely. People have connected more. I mean, I've spoken to friends that I've not spoken to for months or a year, just because there's just, everybody's been doing online pub quizzes or doing online chats together on Zoom and FaceTime. So I think we have had more contact as an upside of it.
Dawn, does this mean I have to appreciate you more, Dave? Is that what this means?
Maybe. We're not going to argue with that, am I?
Just about the shops, I do feel sorry for some of the independents because we obviously, same as you guys in Canada as well, we've got large supermarkets, hypermarket type things that have clothes sections and all the rest of it, but all the clothes shops can't open. Yet big supermarkets can sell clothes
with clothes in are open.
So it's not exactly been fair, has it? But
no, there's a lot of double standards going on in different areas, isn't there? I think that's what annoys people. And why they're perhaps not so keen on following the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I don't know how to really articulate it, but you just drive by and all the lights are off, and the mom and pop shops. That's what I call it. Just and they're not some conglomerate making oodles of money.
No.
They sometimes probably just make ends meet, and that's worked. But now it's people that would do anything just to keep going. It's they don't have options. Yeah. It's really upsetting because, and then it just goes, I think about all the greed in the world, and I know
brings it into perspective.
Yes. So I would like to do some kind of volunteering. I know they still have some kind of volunteering, but Christmas is coming up, and Calgary is freezing, and I also think about we're blessed if we have a roof over our heads, and people say, well, just stay home and you're safe and you're fine. And you're okay, I'm warm and I have a roof over my head and I have somewhere to sleep. But there's a lot of people who don't have that. So it's so what are they supposed to do? So, yeah.
Yeah, we do worry about them, and the people that, like you say, you have out in the town that are, relying on charity of other people that, they're not going to have that there, like you say, because people aren't out on the high street, aren't out in the shops anymore. So they're the ones that are going to be hit worse. I've said that to a lot of people. That's why we can't complain too much, at least, but we're not in that situation. We need to think about them.
Yes. Yeah. Well said.
You talked about Christmas. What have you got any plans for Christmas, Julia? Any big plans? Or?
Well, I suppose my plan will be to spend it at my mom's. I have been seeing her, but I haven't really, I have been going out. I wear my mask and I have hand sanitizer with me and everything, but she just got a puppy, like I said, and so we go for a walk, or I had been living in BC up until July. So since I was 18, other than 2 years, so since I was 18, 31, so other than the 2 years that I was back in Calgary, I haven't been physically near her. She's always been a huge part of my life, but now that I'm back in Calgary, and that's the main reason I've chosen to stay in Calgary and live in Calgary, is because I want to reconnect with her, and I want to see her, and I want to engage and be present. So we're gonna go to her house, and we'll have a tree, and we'll have presents, and we'll have breakfast, and we usually watch It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol, the original.
Oh, so, two great choices there.
Yeah. Did you know that It's a Wonderful Life like flopped initially?
Yeah, it wasn't like a cult hit like straight away, was there, or anything like that?
No.
And it went under the radar a little bit, and then, like you say, later on, people loved it and started talking about it again, and it got popular.
I only literally watched it for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago. I was really late to the party with that, and a friend of ours introduced me to it and said, no, it's a staple. They watch it every year. You've got to watch it. And he came around and watched it, and I loved it. I love the fact that they actually built the entire town on the back lot of a studio. It wasn't an actual town. The whole thing was built. Quite interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
I didn't know that.
I don't know what it's like in Canada, but we've got a furlough scheme over here where the government actually pay people's wages 70-80%, the ones that aren't able to go into work because of the virus. So basically they're in industries or companies where it's just not COVID safe, not COVID secure, for them to go in and do the job. Have you got anything like that in Canada at the minute?
We do.
Where the government's helping out?
We have, it's called the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, CERB, and it started March. They didn't have it going until April, as far as I remember, but then you kind of backtrack from like March, like around St. Patrick's Day. I remember St. Patrick's Day was the day that I got called off of work. I was like working with Patrick. He said, no, you can't come in. Maybe you'll come in tomorrow. And then I think tomorrow they were like, yeah, they're shutting down. So it's every 2 weeks they give you some money. I don't know what percent. It's everyone gets the same. Like I don't know. It's 2,000 Canadian dollars a month, so 1,000 every 2 weeks, and that's for March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 7 months. Yeah, and then it goes into like kind of. I think then it cuts down a bit.
All right.
Yeah. So that's what we have.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a similar thing over here where they're going to drop the payments down a bit as time goes on.
They can't afford to keep giving money away, I guess.
This is it, isn't it?
Go around. I mean, let's face it, we're all going to get taxed to buggery next year, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
I know, that's stressful to think about.
Yeah, so we know how much the government like paying for people. They don't normally get a lot of help, do they? Or not enough.
It's going to get into next year and the government are going to go, oh, we've got another so many billion deficit. How are we going to get that money back? I know. We'll
create a tax.
I know. That's another troubling thing, obviously, is like the economy on a grand scheme, right? Like, because there's a lot of, I know, so there's provinces in Canada, right? So British Columbia is on the coast, the west coast, and then Alberta's the next one. But Albertans are not allowed to go to BC to go skiing, and BC is like, well, that's our tourism industry. Like that's a huge. So they're mad at BC's mad at Alberta.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
not friendly between those two states at the moment. That sounds a bit.
No, not. But masks are mandatory here. Are they there too?
Yes.
Yeah. I think you're pretty much all right outside, aren't you? But if you go inside anywhere,
in shops,
or you're in close proximity with people.
In shops, and when restaurants and bars were open, you have to wear them when you were going to your tables. But you could only go in groups of 6 anyway, and you have to be part of the same bubble. And then in the workplace now, you have to wear them, I think, as well. If you can still work, you have to wear them.
Yeah, if you can still work at your normal place. Yeah, there's a lot of people working from home, isn't there?
Yeah. And David, you're in healthcare.
Yeah, I'm actually in healthcare service, so in the middle of it. But the only thing on my side is, although I'm dealing with COVID indirectly, because I'm not patient facing, I don't have contact with patients face to face. It's all just like telephone and email and digital referrals online. And it's just basically sorting out I'm like the middleman between like the patient and the nurse. So I arrange for the nurse to go out and see the patient who's either too poorly to come to hospital or the health centre or the doctor's office, or the people that have got mobility issues and, like I say, dementia, autism, and things like that. They're just reasons why they can't get out for care. I sort out people to go to the house and do it.
Yes. Well, thank you for being an essential worker.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I do enjoy it. It does feel quite rewarding, even though you're not actually doing, the care yourself. You are putting it in place and, getting people better, or at least in less pain.
Yeah, everything has to. What am I thinking? Everything has its.
Everybody's part a cog in the machine.
A cog in the machine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got to do the bit.
I think I'm the dust in the machine that clogs it. I think that's why I am.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you, Julia. Being as that's why you're here. I mean, we might as well, haven't we? Just a little bit, and then we can go back to talking about me, because I like talking about me.
Mr. P.
So let's talk about Kill Spree. Let's talk about Kill Spree. So this was a film from 2018.
It was a film that was shot in 2017.
Shot in 2017.
Yes. And then it was finished in 2019.
Okay.
And so the full title is Kill Spree, a love story.
Yeah.
So and then we submitted to film festivals, and it's a beautiful film. I'm so proud of it. It's my greatest acting to date, and I can say that just with positivity. I don't know. It's just it's the greatest character and the greatest performance I've ever given. So that's awesome. And the whole film, it was ultra low budget, and we shot it mostly it was about an hour outside of Vancouver in the fields and dirt roads, and it was kind of a hit the ground running, and it's
kind of a bit of a documentary style sort of road trip. It kind of has that kind of feel about it. And
yes, it's a film within a film. So the characters are making a film with their little camera, right? We don't see their camera, but there is a cameraman, and he's referenced. But then there's actually our film, that's our presentation. And we submitted it to film festivals. And this year we got into one, and it was the Hermetic Film Festival in Venice, Italy, and it premiered there. And as I know David knows, and maybe Mr. P, it won Best Feature Film.
I was waiting for you to say that so I could say well done. Yes.
Thank you.
The Caduceus Award, wasn't it?
Yes, you built up to that. Lovely.
So and everyone, sorry, do you want me to just keep talking about it, or do you have any specific?
No, please.
Okay, so my boyfriend at the time, he's not my boyfriend anymore, but his name is Anthony James Wilson, and he wrote the screenplay. Probably was working on it for a while, but started it, I think, in 2013, 2014, 2015. I'm not exactly sure right now. And I read it when it was complete, and we spoke about how we wanted to make it. And then his father is also in the film industry. So Anthony is a writer. He's a poet, and he's also, he's an artist of painter, director, very talented, extraordinary artist. And his father works in film in BC as well. He does the lighting. He uses like LEDs, and like he works on X-Files, both the original and the remake, like the second, the reboot. And yeah, he's super talented too. Cool. So the three of us were like, okay, let's do this, let's make this, like, and we just like pooled our three brains and the money that we needed, and we started off like kind of just going through the scripts, making out like schedules, and going location scouting, and looking into what we had to do to actually be allowed to make this, what hoops we had to jump through. And there were a lot, but that's fair. And then, you know, we started to do the casting process, and so I play the female lead. Her name's Pandora, and my counterpart, my partner in the film, his name is Jack. So we really needed to find the right Jack. We needed to find the right character for everyone. I 100% agree, there are no small parts. Like, I love that line. So everyone, we did our due diligence, and we went through all the submissions, and we some people did just like a video audition, like a tape, and then Jack we did meet in person. Did our callbacks. But so we did all the casting, we did the wardrobe, we did the set design, and we what's the word, invested in a camera package. Afterwards, we got an incredible Unreal composer, just lovely music. Anthony's father, Gregory Wilson, not only did he do the lighting, but he was a cinematographer. Anthony directed. And so, yeah, Kill Spree, a love story. It's a romance love story, but it has like so many different layers. And it's two people from opposite sides of the track, opposite realities, that have both struggled in their own way, and have some angst, have some turmoil, have some unresolved issues, like things that they need to face head on, and they fall in love, and they decide that what they want to do is go on a kill spree to rid the world of what they perceive are evil people. And it's really, I love the wording. It's kind of like lyrical. It's poetic, like truly, but it's wordy. Like it's not just like cut and dry. There's nothing wrong, but I'm just trying to describe like it's like a flowy, and just the sounds and everything. And so yeah, they decide to do that, and they do go on a kill spree, but you know, not to give anything away, balance has to be, there's always going to be a balance, you know? And perhaps, you know, murder isn't the solution. I say that like tongue-in-cheek. Obviously it's not, but to them it is, right, at the time. But they have a ball, they have a blast, it's so much fun until it isn't, I guess.
Yeah, the fairy tale always comes to an end at some point, doesn't it?
Perhaps.
Unfortunately.
So yeah,
it sounds really cool.
It's like, you know, Romeo and Juliet, like, and then kind of like True Romance, Natural Born Killers, like a mashup. Those were films he was inspired by.
Yeah, I did actually watch a trailer for it the other day. Obviously, we'll have to watch the full film at some point when I can find it somewhere to watch, or buy it, or send it or something. I'll watch the whole thing. It had one of those, like you say, long shots of just like you and Jack, Evan Riley, just with the car, like in the cornfield, like in the background and stuff. You know, just talking about stuff. It's a really cool shot.
Thank you. Yeah, we were offered streaming through the film festival's site. I'll call it Trauma. That's like where they like. That's. But I don't. I haven't spoken directly to Anthony, but I know that he's working on a second trailer. Like, he's just. It's taken us years to do this, so we're not really in a rush, you know.
No, that's it. You want to take time.
He's Jack, and he's beautiful actor, brilliant, just phenomenal to work with. And everyone was.
And I think Gregory Lowe Wilson, he was in the film as well, wasn't he? Didn't he do?
He was
acting it as well.
Yes, he has a very cool role.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. That'll be really cool to watch the full thing.
We hope it does really, really, really well, because you're talking about it so passionately, and that's really nice.
It sounds like our kind of film, to be honest.
It does. That's a Geeky Guys film night right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we can virtual hangout and all watch it together.
Yeah.
Watch party.
Yeah.
Let's go right back. So, as you were growing up, was acting something you always wanted to do? Was that something you kind of dropped into?
Not always. I know that what I first wanted to be was a singer. So I was involved in. I was expressing a lot of creative interests, and I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I wanted to perform. I was into musical theater at the time. And I did get an acting agent. I must have been around 9 because I got a part when I was 9 on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show. So I had one line, it's, "Look, Daddy, it's the Ghostbusters." And I went into the audition and I thought I was like excited, like, "Look, Daddy, it's the Ghostbusters." And then she was like, "Okay, that was good, but can you do it sarcastic?" And I think I knew exactly how to do sarcastic at the age of 9. So I got that part. And then I think I wasn't interested in it anymore. I know I did a couple more auditions, but then I think I was just focusing on other things. I was doing community theater, like musicals. And then life just kind of got different. My parents went through a divorce, and I experienced a little bit of trauma. So my psyche was different, like my feelings were different, the way I wanted to express myself was different. And I didn't really want to be like singing and performing and really big and over the top and putting myself out there. And when I got into high school, I auditioned for a play. It was a dramatic play, and it was a 2-person play. It was called Playing with Angels. I've looked for it and I can't find it. Anyways, it's like very deep, and they're living in this house and there's a fire and it's just this couple, and there's obviously a lot of unrest with them. And I just remember feeling so freed, and like I've described it as like being very cathartic, and I could like take my real emotions but be somebody else. And there was subtlety and like little nuances, and every little part is very precise, and there's like a stillness. I don't know, I just really I was like, okay, this is what I actually want to do, like this is what I need to do essentially. And I got an agent around there, and I started working and in Calgary, and I loved it. And I started missing a lot of school. Like my grade 11 math final, I had to either go to set or miss my math final. So I missed my math final, but I spoke to him, and he said, "Okay, well, if you're not writing it, your exact grade's going to be a 50. So I was like, well, it's a pass. So and then I didn't have to take math again in grade 12. I don't know why it was optional, but so I was done with math. But I worked a lot when I was in grade 12. And I had my sights set on Vancouver. I was kind of asking around, like when I was on set with like producers or other actors, like what do they know about Vancouver? Like what's it like? What's the industry like? And it sounded great. I wasn't, I think every actor thinks about Los Angeles primarily, or maybe New York. London, I know has a lot of, but I guess maybe it was too far. It wasn't in my vision, but there was something that I didn't connect with the United States of America, and going to Los Angeles or going to New York City. Primarily I was thinking, okay, Los Angeles. But, I feel differently now, but I used to just say to myself, like, all I want is to be a working actor. Like, I just want to get parts and do them and then get another part and just live, like, you know, live well. Like, but I wasn't interested in being famous, and I wasn't really like hustling. I was doing my best every time for a period of time when I went to my auditions, but I wasn't like, you know, like pushing, like, not, I don't want to be negative, but, you know, like, I just wanted to act. I didn't
Yeah.
need to be the best, but I needed to be my personal best. But just any kind of validation was what I was seeking, just parts and different roles. And I thought, you know, all these interesting little parts. And actually, now that I'm thinking, I probably thought, you know, going to LA and making it there would be harder. So yes, so
We hear a lot of people say that, don't they? That they go to LA expecting to, you know, live the big acting life, and like you say, they struggle to get work or enough work, and perhaps end up just doing a bit of commercials, and they don't make enough money, and then end up going home. So, from what I've heard, it is a very hard place to break to make a lot of money and do really well there.
Oh yeah. I think there's a handful, like more than 5, but less than 10, primary main casting directors in Vancouver. I don't know the number in LA, but it's got to be like 500. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, you know, so yeah, there was some fear, right? And just, I didn't know anyone in Vancouver, but I really didn't know anyone in LA, you know? And so I went to Vancouver. And my agent in Calgary set me up with an agent. She said had a good reputation there. And I met with him, and he said, yeah, I'll work with you. And then we just kind of started from there.
That's cool. And Vancouver's a lot nearer to home than LA as well.
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
And all the cool things are shot in Vancouver. Even though
they are now, aren't they?
Well, not so much now, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, not right now.
Right now.
No, but it's certainly right up there, isn't it? The last few years with the top filmmaking, isn't it? A lot of studios and distributors that seem to be going up that way, don't they?
Yeah, have you heard of it? It's called North Hollywood. That's what we call it.
Yeah, well, being geeky guys, obviously,
cool.
Yeah, DC shows, and they're all filmed up in Vancouver. So that's quite cool. I love Canada. Anywhere that, I mean, in fact, Calgary is where they shot a lot of these Smallville scenes from the original Superman film with Chris Reeve. So that's cool. Yeah.
But I think from looking at sort of the acting roles that you've done, they've always seemed like they've been quite well thought out. Projects that you've got involved with, they're all kind of quite well written and produced and shot and interesting and artistic, and you know that's what I tend to think. I mean, especially with like American Mary, obviously with the Oscars, we worked on that. I mean, that was a really cool, dark, gritty, interesting film. You know, and kind of shone a light on the, you know, the whole obsession with plastic surgery and body modifying and all that sort of thing, which was, you know, quite big at the time when it came out as well.
Oh yes, yeah, and just the whole storyline, right? Like Mary and what she experiences, and then how it affects her life and the choices she makes.
Yeah, you can kind of see how she goes down that road, can't you? And obviously, you know, it seems a bit extreme, but you can see how, you know, somebody would go that way in the mind, and, you know, think that they're getting back at the people that are oppressing them. And yeah, so it's a really cool movie.
Yeah, I loved that movie. I meant to say I loved working on that movie, but I did love that movie too. They're really interesting women, intelligent women, driven too. So I was happy that they wanted to work with me.
That was really cool. And obviously you said that a few days ago that you quite enjoyed working on Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah, I told you that was like the most fun I'd
The
ever
most fun that you've had, yeah.
Any film with the title Hot Tub Time Machine has to be fun to make, surely.
had.
You would think, wouldn't you? You would think.
It's true. Yes, it was a riot. It was a blast. It was like a total hoot, and like it was just like it was like stepping into this like fantasy land of filmmaking and the costumes and the sets and the actors. Like that was my, working with famous actors and that were all like, respectful and what's it called, supportive, like, and
Yeah.
yeah, I just I'll never forget that experience, and the whole, just the way that it all progressed, and I'm happy that it's such a funny movie.
Yeah, I remember when it came out that it was, quite a big movie and lots of people were talking about it and it got really good reviews. I remember watching it at the time when it came out. I've not seen it for a few years, so I'll have to go back and rewatch that one.
It was very different as well.
Yeah.
At the time, compared to what a lot of the other stuff was coming out, it was quite different. I was actually going to ask a question, which I'm not going to ask now, but I'll tell you what it is because I think you've already answered it. Which was, I was going to say, if you had one acting role that you could go back and completely relive again, which one would it be? I'm guessing that that's what it's going to be, or would you disagree? You have to do it exactly how you did it before. You can't change it. So if you had one,
exactly how I did it before.
exactly.
Well, I don't think it would be Hot Tub Time Machine.
Right. Okay.
I actually think it would be. It was a Lifetime TV movie. I was 17 years old, and it was directed by Jason Priestley. He was like in Beverly Hills 90210, and he's Canadian, and he was also in the movie, but it was based on a novel. It's called Don't Cry Now.
Okay.
And I play a troubled teenage girl who I almost gave something away, but she just, she's been living with her mother. Her parents have separated, and they find her mother, Jan Arden, played by Jan Arden, and she's passed away. She's been murdered, and so she goes to live with her father, and her father's remarried, and she has like step siblings, and she's really like seemingly sweet to her father, and wants to be accepted and loved, as we all do, but she's tortured inside, and it was just I had to give the most I've ever given, probably.
Yeah.
And like, so, in Hot Tub Time Machine, I shot several scenes. I had a good part, and it happens. I know it happens, so like it's okay. But only one of my scenes made it into the film, right? So, but there are scenes I look back on and think I would have done this a little differently. So that's why I'm not saying that. Like,
yeah.
But as far as Don't Cry Now, that movie, that television movie, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't have changed a thing. So that would be my answer.
Okay,
cool. Yeah, that was a really cool movie. They Don't Cry Now as well. I remember watching that one and thinking that was pretty cool. I did enjoy that one.
That's so cool.
We're going to do a feature now called Geeky Guys Favorites. Now, we normally do this on our other podcast, and me and Dave ask each other alternate podcasts about a favorite.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
Because this is a special and you're a guest, I'm going to ask you. So this could be, I'm going to give you a choice of 1, 2, or 3, and basically it's just a random silly thing, and I ask you what your favorite particular thing is and why. So you've just got to pick 1, 2, or 3.
3, because triangles are the strongest shape, and they have 3 points.
Good point.
You're going to like this then, because this
is
Dave's suggestion. I got 2 written down, and just before we came on, I said to Dave, I need a third good one, and he said, oh, what about this? So
nice.
Hey, so it's what's your favorite season? So spring, winter, fall. What's your favorite season?
Well, spring, summer, fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer.
I know what you're saying.
Summer.
Summer. I love the sun. I love the heat. I love like there's like a there's an energy I feel in the air, you know. I like how it's light out, late. Um, I don't really just like I love the sun. I love the heat. Like and I love then you're more willing to go outside also too, you know, like and you don't have to have all these layers. Like it's fine, but you can just kind of roll out of bed and go out and go for a walk and you're fine and you're protected and you put your sunscreen on if you need it. And when I was living in British Columbia, like going to the beach, swimming in the ocean.
Oh yeah.
We live in the UK, so obviously we've got no idea what this sun and warm thing is that you're talking about.
It's never. That's not true.
Okay. We do get some nice warm weather, to be honest, and we do get some sunshine, just not quite as much as some of the other places in the world.
No, and certainly with climate change, we don't get as much as we used to either. Do we?
We normally
Unfortunately,
get in the middle of the summer where it's quite warm, but it can be quite grey and miserable in the UK sometimes. But
I know what you mean, though. It's the bright, happy, nice, lovely season, isn't it? Summer, like I say, everybody's out and everybody wants to go out and do things, and you can stay out late because it's light till 9-10 o'clock. And there's been quite a few summers that me and Mr. P have sat out with a bit of a roaring open fire in the garden and stuck something on to watch, or just some good music, and had some wine or some beers. And
I used to grab the big 50-inch TV and literally outside with a fire stick in the back of it connected to the Wi-Fi at the house. So we'd have the fire going, take the big TV outside, own a bottle of wine, and put a film on or something. We've done that quite regularly, haven't we?
Yeah, it's quite a nice way to spend a summer evening, that is, isn't it? But a beach party would be nice if we lived near the sea. Obviously, that'd be even better. But
we are kind of stuck right in the middle of the country.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? Certainly not coastal. But...
No. Well, here there's like some man-made lakes. There's real lakes, I think, around, but yeah, definitely not coastal here either. I also just was thinking, probably too, summer is like, so all growing up, all through my childhood, my teenage years, in the summer, like my mom was a teacher. She's retired, but so she had her summers off, and we would go camping a lot, right? That's when you could do a lot of things. If you were active, you're outside, you're playing with friends, you're with your family, like, yes, doing things like putting up projectors, right? And like sitting outside and
so cool, isn't it, that?
Yeah.
Doing things like that.
Yeah. So that would be my answer. What about you two? Do I get to ask you what your favorite seasons are?
Yeah. Dave.
I think I'd have to be really boring and agree with Julia and say that summer is probably the best. I mean, there's some nice things about, obviously spring, the beginning of the year, and think the flowers are blooming and it's the start of new opportunities and everything else. And winter, you get to put your long swishy coats on, your warm scarf, and sometimes getting yourself warm and sitting in front of an open fire with a beer or something is quite nice. But yeah, summer, I think, has got to be the best for me as well.
Oh, I think I'm going to...
Mr. P.
I think you're right. There are elements about the other seasons that are quite nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Summer, I burn when I'm in the sun like a wally. I have to cake myself with cream.
What?
Sun cream, sunscreen. Sorry?
Did you say like a wally?
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
Oh, like a idiot.
Slap on sunscreen like an idiot.
I just have to look at the sun and it starts to roast me. So
yes.
That's the one part about summer that I don't like, but I still think it would probably be my favourite.
Yeah, but then summer would say to you, well, just sit in a gazebo for a bit, or put a t-shirt on for a bit, or put one of them umbrellas or them parasols above you.
I've moved it. I've got a fez up there at the minute, but I normally my
could do that.
Big hat normally sits on one of those. I have to wear my big hat out in the summer.
Yeah, your big Death Valley hat.
Big Death Valley hat. But yeah, I think I'd probably agree. Summer.
Yeah, I think we'd have to say summer, wouldn't we?
Let's skip forward a little bit then, and let's talk supernatural.
Well, I was going to say actually we ought to have a quick word about Smallville. I'm quite interested to hear about that, because obviously you played Mary Pearson, one of the metas in the episode Prey. What was your experience of working on set on that show and going into an established show that had already been going a few seasons when you joined?
It was thrilling. I loved that role, and that she was kind of contained and like kind of mysterious, and you didn't really know what to expect from her. And I was so excited to work on it. That was like, I think it was the second part I got in Vancouver. And I know it was really cool because so I got to do stunts on that. So after
cool.
Right, where I'm drinking my tea, Mary, right? She disappeared. But so
dragged away.
They put me all in the straps, and then we had to do practices like falling onto my face and being pulled back really, really fast. And they put me in a certain jacket. It was like orange, because the director said he wanted to do kind of like the Sin City kind of style of like the colors and stuff, like how they pop, and they're kind of like a neon-y, like not as neon is, but just like a vividness.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That was interesting. Like, it was, not only was I but not only was I playing a role, but I got to also see the other things that people are thinking about, that, just the way it looks, the way they present it, like what tone that it has. And I remember loving it.
And it was kind of at a time when, obviously we've got a massive plethora of superheroes and metahumans and mutants and inhumans and all sorts now on TV and in film. But I think that was kind of at the time when that was just started kicking off as well, wasn't it? When that had just started.
Smallville came out in 2001. It was the first show that really put that kind of hero on TV. And
I mean, we'd had Watchmen, which was, but.
And it was heavy on visual effects as well.
That's right. That's good.
Now happen, but at the time it was really heavy on visual effects.
Yeah, and of course, as I said, obviously the lead, Tom Welling, we met him a couple of years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, really nice guy.
In London. Yeah, he was a really nice guy. Wouldn't remove his hat because of the haircut, would he? So it's a surprise I'm not taking it off for the photo. For the next role he was in. So whether it was for before he was doing filming for Lucifer or something, I don't know. But he wouldn't take the hat off, would he?
Oh, is he in Lucifer?
Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, he was in the last series of Lucifer. He played
Piers, didn't he? Detective Piers, was it?
Yeah,
Captain Piers. Captain Piers.
Captain Pierce, who eventually turned out to be gone, Dave. Well, my memory palace is gone.
Yeah, he was. Wasn't it Cain and Abel? Wasn't he like
Cain? Yes,
Cain. He was, wasn't he? Yeah.
I was thinking Adam, but that's just because of we've not got to yet. But yeah, Cain. That's it. He played Cain. Cain and Abel.
Obviously, you guys must like that show, but I have always said I would not watch that show because it's called Lucifer. I ended up watching one episode, but I just think, if I may, I just think it's like they're trying to make him seem like he's just like a cool dude, and he's just like drink or has some women and stuff, and I have a vast spiritual belief system.
Yeah.
I don't want to toy with that.
No, it kind of flies in the face of that a little bit, doesn't it? It's like glamorizing things that shouldn't be glamorized, and I know what you're saying. I mean,
it's art, so I shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I guess everything is. Some things are for different people, right? I watched it that one time, and that was more than enough, and I didn't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, that's it. Enough for me. No problem.
Strictly on the title and the character. That's just all. It's probably an awesome show, right? I know it's been going for seasons, but I will not watch it again.
I could go away. It's enough for me. Yeah. But I think if I'm right, didn't the director on Smallville, Mike Roll, also direct in Supernatural as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thought so.
Totally. Good memory. Yes, I don't remember. I think it was the middle episode I did on Supernatural.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was the second one, wasn't it? Because the interesting thing with that, I was saying to Paul earlier, was that obviously we're playing this character Eve, Mother of All, from Purgatory, and you got three different directors in the three episodes. So was that like difficult? Did they all have it? Did they each have a different view on how that character was played or portrayed, or the direction it was going, or did they kind of carry on each other's work quite well in a continuity?
I'd say that you said the latter.
Yeah.
I know that, like there were little parts that would be like, maybe, say this in a certain way, right? But as far as the character that I brought, I don't remember anyone trying to really tweak it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much they were all like singing off the same hymn sheet, and it was they all told the story and didn't particularly, like say, make any major changes or make it difficult for you. They're doing something different in an episode to what the way you would have done it different in another one or anything like that.
No,
That's
I remember it really seamless, and that was a very, very professionally done show. Like, it was, everyone was just bam, 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 and like the scene where I'm in that gas station and I'm barefoot.
Yeah.
I just remember just being taken the best care of because it was cold, right? And I was walking around.
Oh, I'd imagine.
But they would have heaters, like right when I got off camera, right before I started. I'd have big coats around me. Like everyone was like, I just felt really well cared for, which is a nice feeling. Like, and
yeah.
You could just tell that like people, that was season 6, and
yeah, I was going to say, been established for a while, hadn't it?
Exactly. And I think they know what they're looking for. They know what they're going for. They know what the end game is.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's a lot of, when you watch any of the behind the scenes stuff or interviews, it always does seem like there's a real family atmosphere on that show, and they do look after each other. That's definitely what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know that there's like the Supernatural family, like the fandom, right? It's the Supernatural family. And I felt that way, and I wasn't there for too long, but
yeah, I was surprised that they didn't carry it on for longer than 3 episodes. Actually, I thought it could have been like a 1 or 2 season arc. All of that, it's, I did always feel it was a bit of a shame you didn't get longer on that to flesh the character out more and develop it more.
Yeah, maybe Eve was too powerful, and they had to get
rid
of
maybe.
As soon as possible.
She was almost indestructible, and she certainly was one of the most powerful enemies that
Yeah. I mean, certainly the one thing that I would say about it, which kind of goes against what I've just said a little bit, but I think that character will be in the top pantheon of villains, enemies, challengers that Sam and Dean Winchester have faced in that 15 years. So I think it's something to be massively proud of, because it's a big show and you did a really good job on that show, and you're going to be remembered for that, obviously, amongst other things. But certainly the Supernatural fans, I think, will fondly remember you for years and years to come.
Thank you, David. You did make me feel very proud just then. Yeah.
Did you when you prepared for that role, because it was such a powerful character, was there something you did differently, or in terms of direction of how to approach that character? Was there a conversation about how you hold yourself on screen because of it being such a powerful character?
Well, I've always felt like I was like sort of like a method actor. Like I've never studied it, but kind of I didn't need to be addressed as Eve on set, or like some people just, they don't break character. But I kind of like get into it, like if I have time, like get into that kind of energy, that kind of mind frame. She's a mother, she's God knows how many years old, like what has she seen, what has she been through. Like I did feel a bit of like a darkness around me, like a self-imposed, but just kind of like I felt this kind of like ominousness, and like I remember being on set, and I would just kind of sit on the steps of my trailer and just kind of not do much of anything, but just kind of try and remain in that mode.
Embrace the darkness and keep that as your mindset, temporary mindset for that role.
Yes. And then I'm remembering like the first, like when she's introduced, she's not Eve, right? She's just a
yeah.
And so that was kind of being in kind of like a chaotic, like terrified zone, and I don't really specifically remember how I prepared for that. I've always felt really strong in kind of feeling the negative emotions, like I don't know, but that would always come a little more naturally. And then if I really like, I'll tell you a little secret of sorts, but so if you really want to be like your emotions and they're on the surface and everything, like if you don't get much sleep, you know how if you don't get much sleep, like your kind of emotions are like right at the tip of your fingers, and sometimes it's just like this outpouring, and you feel like you might cry even when it's not even something that's sad. So I think I didn't sleep too much like leading up to it, like not for days and days on end, but just so because you want to be a little bit out of it almost.
Yeah, so it kind of brings those elements to the fore a lot more, like you're saying, doesn't it, when you're feeling like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good preparation. I mean, you do hear of like method actors that will like have the character's outfit on for like a week or like 2 weeks before, and like almost live that character's life to do it, which, you know, like you say, everybody's got their own way of doing it, isn't it? And whatever works for each person. But that's always an interesting one.
Yeah, I know, that's fascinating. Like, anyways, I'm just thinking of the Jim Carrey, and he's doing the comedian, is it Man on the Moon? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Man on the Moon.
Anyways, he just never breaks character ever. Andy Kaufman. He plays Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
And I remember just watching. There's a documentary. I don't know. There's a documentary, and he's just like sitting there, and he is Andy Kaufman. Like I don't even know if he really believed he was Andy Kaufman, or if Andy Kaufman's spirit was in him. But I was just going, holy cow! Like, it's interesting. Everyone has their own, like, it's like any career, I guess, any job. You have your own approach to it. You know what works for you.
What works for you.
Exactly.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing the movie. I think I spoke to you years ago about it when you was in the Earth's Final Hours, the TV movie by W.D. Hogan. Directed that one, I think, didn't he? But I always thought that was quite cool. I quite enjoyed that, but it never seemed to get much traction, did it? And that people didn't really take to it as much as I thought they would have done.
Yeah, that was super.
It's still a cool film, and I think it's one that, like, you usually find that achieve cult status later on when people re-find it, or people from the next generation find it. So I think that'll still go up the list a bit, still to come.
That's a super neat idea. I hope you're right. Yeah. I mean, you know, like, yeah, always the best case scenario would be the best, right? But I'm never really thinking about like the future when I'm on something. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing, and I'm so happy, and I'm living my dream essentially. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of action in that.
Yeah.
And I worked with Cameron Bright. And he was a really cool dude. Like we became friends, and
obviously a hell of a lot of special effects with meteors from space hitting the Earth.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, a cool storyline.
I want to just touch briefly on obviously, you know, life has lots of ups and downs, and you've said that you abstain now from alcohol due to some issues that you've had with those. Do you want to just sort of say how you feel now about that?
I'd love to. Thank you for asking.
No, it's something that you're passionate about now as well, isn't it? About, you know, sharing your recovery from, you know, the times that you've had with alcohol and drugs, and trying to help other people, you know, along the journey as well.
Yeah. So how I'm feeling about it now is I feel proud, I feel content, I feel safe, I feel self-love, I have self-worth, I have so much confidence again. I feel capable of taking care of myself and being a friend and being a family member. I have renewed faith, renewed spirituality. I wake up every morning excited for life. I go to bed like happy. I remember my life. It's like it's confusing to because you try and figure out like the whys and the hows and the how could this have happened. But you know, it is an illness, and I'm working with my sponsor, and up until like the 50s, everyone thought it's like a moral, like something is morally wrong with you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And so now, but then they were starting, no, there's actually an illness. It's a disease, and it's not curable. But you know, all things considered, like it is something that I think about every day. Like, and I think some days it'll be easier, some days it might be harder. But I have learned the value of life and know what kind of life I want for myself and for my loved ones. And a part of the 12 steps is, you know, also community, others. And it's upsetting. David, I know you saw this on my Facebook. It's like, I saw a friend who posted this and I was like, wow, so true. It's like, yes, COVID, terrible, awful. What can we do? But there's still drug addicts, alcoholics, people, mental health issues. Like they're still suffering, and maybe worse than both. And it's just I know what that struggle is like, and it's unpleasant, and it's sometimes a very hopeless place to be in. But I'm just really grateful for my life, for recovery. My sobriety date is June 30th, 2020.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. I think it's quite nice now as well that there's a lot more support and education in this area as well. Like you say, in the past, it would, you know, just be kind of all put on the person, and, you know, that it's all down to their fault. Whereas now, you know, people do look at the other sides of it and where it's come from, and, you know, where the journey's going to, and people help each other out. And you see there's a whole community around it as well, which is helpful. So I think sometimes people left on their own with the problems, it's hard to get your head above the water and get back to that point in your life you need to get to. But if you've got people around you that have been through the same or similar, you can definitely help each other and make that journey easier and maybe a bit quicker.
Yes, absolutely. And there's an urgency too to addiction and mental health. You know, like the worst case is that it kills you, right? Or
yeah, that's it.
take your own life. So there's so much I want to do, and I don't know. I watched a film last night. It was called The Secret, and they say like, well, if you don't know what you don't know what you want, how can you ask for it? So because I've just been like, oh my God, there's so many things I want to do, so many things I need to do. I'm ready to do it, but I haven't really like focused, honed in on what that's going to look like, what I hope that looks like, what I can manifest. But I know I can help people recover, or just, I don't know. You can't force that upon anyone. No one can force that upon me, and I know that you can't force it upon anyone else. But just to make a difference, As someone
that's had obviously some of these issues, and you've obviously overcome them to the point where you're obviously, it's still an ongoing battle, I'm sure, but you know, you've recovered in the sense that, you know, you're recovering. What would you say to anyone out there now that is potentially possibly struggling with those same issues? Is there any advice you would give them that would potentially help them
I would say that life may not get easier, but there is more to life than addiction. It's not a way to live. It's not an easy thing to accept, being an addict. You know, I loved drugs. That's why I did them. I loved alcohol. That's why I drank it. So it's not that I don't know that it's not only an addiction, which means an obsession, where even if you go, you know, I have 5 children and I have a spouse and I have a beautiful like, it's like, why can't you just stop? It's like, no, I know it's not simple. It's not no. Like that. But I would say that just try and get help. Like, just stop for a day. Go to a detox center. Go, like, here, the rehab I went to, it was free. It was it's covered. You never, like, there's a peacefulness that is so magical, that is attainable, that you cannot attain when you're using and, you know, abusing. And I also think it's really relevant that there is a higher power, there is a creator, there is a God. This I know for sure. And so I know that maybe, but a part of the actual AA big book, the 12-step program, is you have to believe in a higher power, whether that's your higher self, you know, like the greatest self you can be, the power of the community, those around you, or a God, or a whatever it is, Mother Nature. Like, you have to also realize that you are not the most powerful person here, and that there is something in the world, something in the stratosphere, in the whole universe, that loves you unconditionally, is there for you, that you're not alone, you're never alone. And I'm so grateful that I tried. I think it's just worth just trying it. Just try and get help. Like, if you need help, reach out or do something. Just stop. Like, oh God, I can't remember if I said just stop, but just stop for that day and go get away from it for 8 hours. If you go to a day detox from 9 to 5, and just, like, let yourself just have a break, because it's exhausting being an addict and having your whole world revolve around it. And I don't know, I want people to find happiness, and I know it doesn't come through alcohol and drugs. And they say in treatment, like, the thing that, you know, you do look at benefits and the cons. And one of the benefits of substances is that it's reliable. You know what it's going to do. You know it's going to do the same thing. And it is a relief, or it is an escape, or it is this, like, rush or this power. But there's all these other ways to achieve that are real, and that really, I think, I have a far more elevated feeling, where you're like, wow, this is real, this is authentic, this is pure, this comes from me and everything I'm interacting with, rather than this is something that I know doesn't sit with my values and my hopes and my dreams, and could potentially harm me, is harming me. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I hope I've said something of.
No, that's fine. I think, I mean, what you're saying there, I think, is, you know, people need to take that first step on that journey, and a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And you know,
And I think it's the thing as well of, like, showing faith in something, isn't it? Either, like Julie was saying there, either show faith in your friends, or show faith in your family, show faith in God, show faith that the universe is going to look after you if you move away from, you know, these things that are hurting you and damaging you. And, you know, just like you say, just giving you that quick hit of happiness, and then you're looking for the next one. Otherwise you're miserable. But I think it is, like you say, it's just starting off, stopping for a second, and just having that faith in something, even if it's a project that you start, or, you know, if it's something that you can focus your mind on, other than that, and then that can set the wheels in motion and start the journey, can't it? Definitely.
Yes. It's just, the possibilities are endless when you're free.
I mean, it's like you said about nature there. You hear of a lot of people that, like, go out walking in, you know, the great outdoors, and they say how much better it makes them feel, and how much stronger and how much more confident, just something simple like that.
Yes. And the other thing, Mr. P, so you said take that first step in the journey. So something that I learned this summer is they say, when's the best time to plant a tree? And it's like 20 years ago. But if you didn't plant that tree 20 years ago, plant it today, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
So I think we ought to ask you, as me and Mr. P are both intrigued, what's your Geoffrey Rush story?
Yes.
All right. So my Geoffrey Rush story. He's my favorite actor of all time. And I have been to the Toronto International Film Festival once in my life. It was in 2011. I flew straight from Burning Man, which is a festival in Nevada in the States. It's a week-long festival. So it's kind of, I was dusty, and I was all kind of in this like zone. Anyways, I land in Toronto, and I know I'm getting picked up at the airport. And there's a sign. Someone's holding a sign, and it says, G. Rush, J. Maxwell. I'm like, oh my God. Freaking out. And so I say, hey, hi, I'm Julia. And he's like, great. And then he said, so anyways, Geoffrey's flight is delayed. So we're just going to take you. And I'm like, okay.
That's disappointing.
So anyways, I go about my day. I'm still really excited. Everything's awesome. And I take the subway. And I like come out of the station, come up the steps, like, and I'm walking down the street, and there's someone walking right in front of me, and he's smoking a cigarette. And people start to say like to him, like, oh, like you're a great actor, we love your work, blah blah blah. And we stand at the side of the road, and it was Geoffrey Rush.
That's Geoffrey Rush.
I was too shy to say anything, but, and this is maybe like borderline creepy, but I picked up his cigarette butt. So I had that. And I did
that's a nice thing to keep.
Something.
Well, you were keeping the street clean.
Off of it or anything.
You're keeping the street.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, isn't he?
He's phenomenal.
So many cool films.
So what's next for Julia Maxwell? You said you were called away from work because of COVID. Is this something you can tell us about that you're working on that's cool, or?
Oh my goodness, no! I was serving at a pub. That wasn't acting related. I have no idea. I've been okay for a time. I thought, like, for about the past year, say like May of 2019, because I wasn't well, and because I had lost my confidence, and because I didn't, starting to lose my interest in, having the life that I wanted for myself, I sort of started to tell myself I don't love acting anymore, and I don't want to be an actor, and it's not what I want to do. And I kept convincing myself of that. And then I got into treatment, and it was like I had this clear head, and it was like I couldn't help it. Like it was like I was getting bombarded with like, no, you love it, like you're good at it. It's like what you've wanted for years and years. Like, don't give up, kind of thing. So I know that I wanted to act in some capacity, whether it's theater, community theater, in some way, in any way, independent films, like local things.
Yeah.
I have to, at least, I'm grateful, at least I know I have to do it in some way to be happy. But I'd love to be Prime Minister one day of Canada. I'd write a memoir. Like, I'd love to work in recovery. I'd love to do something spiritual. Like, I'd love to, I that's the thing, is I'm just kind of like buying my time and saying, oh, just one day at a time, baby steps. But I'm not really stepping. I'm kind of just like I'm working my recovery, which is all well and good. But other than that, I'm not putting my real energy into something. And I can only do that for a certain amount of time before I start to get pissed off with myself.
Yeah, it's one of them things where you kind of got to write your dream goals down, haven't you, and then work towards them.
Yes. Yeah.
Put the ones at the top that are most important, and just work towards them a step each day and get it done.
Yeah.
Julia, we absolutely wish you well in whatever you decide to do next. Thank you so much for taking the time today to come and talk to us.
And she will do great in it as well, of course.
Of course. Of course.
Well, thank you.
And next time we talk, we'll have to discuss about the acting role that got away from you as well.
Oh yes, okay, yes. To be continued. Until
That'll be in
next.
part 2.
Part 2, yes.
David and Paul, well, take care.
Yeah, you too. Hope you have a good afternoon out with your friend.
And be safe. And I had a total pleasure speaking with you guys.
Yeah, it's really nice to finally have a proper chat.
Yes, yes. All right.
Definitely have to do it again. All right, we'll catch you soon.
Okay.
All right, see you later, Juliet.
Bye.
Bye.
And for everyone else listening, you can catch up with all the things that we're doing on the website at geekyguys.co.uk. That was fun, Dave. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great. She's lovely, isn't she, as expected? And, very open and honest. And, I felt we've had a really good chat there, haven't we? And, learned a lot about her and obviously the shows and the films that she's been involved with and what it's like to be an actor and, overcoming challenges and things. I think it was a good one.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great special. Don't forget, like I said, geekyguys.co.uk for all the stuff we're doing, including our regular Tea Break podcast series.
Yes.
Which is out.
Every week, indeed.
It's weekly. Yes, it's weekly.
We're weekly.
It's weekly. It's weekly. I just realised we didn't get an Alan Partridge impression in.
No, we didn't, but this was quite a long episode. It's well over an hour, so it's definitely an extender.
There we go.
And there we go, Jurassic Park.
And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening. Bye.